Hey guys, welcome back to Ultimate S&S. So we are going to discuss a few interesting things today on our show. One of the things that we're looking at right now is the reports that are coming in from all over the world. And one of the things we all have seen with our own eyes is the price of what bread is costing today. It has gone up in this area. Now, for the lower end bread, you're looking at $3 to $4 per loaf. That's insane. It used to be about $2.50, which I thought was kind of high, but now we're looking at $4 for your lower end, $5 to $6 for some of the brands that I actually preferred back in the day. But I will go with the cheapest bread I can find because it's bread. But why are we seeing these prices? Well, because there is a wheat shortage, there is a grain shortage, and despite what Russia would have you see, and we're going to post these clips up for you, they say that their invasion of the Ukraine, or well, actually, they don't call it an invasion; they call it a military operation. But their invasion in Ukraine is part of what's happening with the wheat supply of the world, even though they would have you believe that it is not. And in fact, not only is the invasion part of it, but their actions within the invasion. So then, Russia and Ukraine had a kind of a meeting of the minds to hopefully get rid of part of this crisis with the wheat, and they were supposed to open up this port so that the Ukraine can actually move the grains and the wheats and stuff to the world where it needs to be. So right after that happened, the next day Russia then comes in and they start burning the wheat fields and they start blowing up the port. And here are those clips. So why bother showing you that? Well, a few reasons. One, when we tell you that it's time to get food, you need to be buying flour, you need to be buying grains and stuff, so you can make your own breads or whatever the situation is. Maybe it's feed for your animals and stuff. You need to be getting that stuff down because eventually there's not going to be much of it there. There's not going to be any of it available. But also, we're looking at it from the standpoint of you can't always trust the narrative of what a government's telling you or even the media, and that even goes for right here at home, guys. But we're seeing the empty shelves, and we're seeing the results of conflict. We're seeing the results of bad management on behalf of our constituent representatives, the ones that are voted in office. Yet we seem to want to sit around and blame each other as people. Well, oh, well, that guy's a Republican, it's his fault, or this guy's a liberal, it's his fault, or a conservative, or a Democrat, or whatever. But see, that's the plan, guys. That's what the narrative is. Keep us fighting amongst ourselves, and then we will not see that the real problem is the people that are in our leadership positions do not hold American values to heart. It's not what's important to them. What's important to them is filling their own pockets. And the water shortage out west that is a big factor. That is the proof that you need. They are selling water, even though they're telling everyone they have a shortage, asking states, asking for water from the Mississippi, but yet these people are still selling water overseas. Now, are these people getting mad at their leaders for doing that? No. They're getting mad at the Southerners for not wanting to give Mississippi water over there. That's what it comes down to. So you keep them arguing amongst themselves, and the elite do whatever they want to do. So that's where we're at in society. I wish people would wake up to that. Either we're Americans or we're not. That's what it comes down to. Regardless of what your political view is or even your religious view on there, we should be able to agree on the fact that we are Americans and that our leaders should be putting American policy and American interests first. But unfortunately, that is not what's happening. We're seeing people that they hate America and they get elected into these positions and they do everything they can to destroy our country from within. And that is what's happening on the international scene. That's what's happening on our local levels. That's what's happening in our federal levels as well, guys, and within our state levels. I live in Florida. Thankfully, we have DeSantis. Everyone talk about they want him to run for president. Man, I hope he stays right where he's at because I'm feeling if he goes into a White House office, we're going to end up getting someone because of all the influx of people that's coming from liberal countries or liberal states, I should say, coming down to Florida, that we're going to end up with somebody who does not hold our interest. And if that ends up happening, then I will move from this area. I lived in Oregon for a while. I did not like the area at all. It was a beautiful state. The people were kind of, some of them were pretty good people. But then there were those who they looked to start conflict because they go, oh, well, they would find out that, okay, that you hold to faith that God is God and that Jesus Christ is the Son of God and that he is, was crucified for your sins and is risen. And anyone who believes in him is not going to perish but have everlasting life. As soon as they figure that out, you're a target with a lot of those people. I'm not saying there's not Christians or good people in Oregon, guys. I'm telling you that the bulk of them over in that area are left wing. Just, yeah, they do not like you right off the bat. Doesn't matter who you are. But I didn't like the area. I didn't feel really welcome in the area. I had a few friends, but the moment I was able to save up enough money and get stuff situated, I got back out here on the East Coast. I come back down to the South. That's what I'm used to. That's the type of people I'm used to. So that's where I went to. And I suggest that other people do that. If you don't like your area, rather than be miserable there and rather than have to deal with unjust situations that go against your moral code, you really need to look at moving and finding a place to go to. And it can be done. Most people just don't feel like doing that. But my recommendation to everyone right now is get as much food as you can. You need to stockpile flour. How do you store flour? Well, the way I understand it, you can actually get bread that's in cans. I guess it's like dough, and you would just open it up and cook it up. You can get that. It's already canned and all. It's already done everything it needs to happen. But you can also take the actual flour, and you have to freeze that stuff. And I'm talking freeze it. And once it's frozen, then you can take and you can put that into these vacuum sealed bags, Mylar bags and stuff like that. And just make sure you put O2 absorber in it. And that's going to have you some flour long-term storage. If you don't freeze it, don't be surprised when you open it up that there's little weevils in there. That's a little bug that eats flour. So you definitely need to make sure that you freeze it. And I don't mean just put it in there for a few hours. Leave it in there for a week or two. Make sure it kills all that stuff so it's not laying dormant. And then you can package it up for long-term storage, guys. And it may be a situation where you still might end up with a few in there. If that is the situation, it's up to you. But I would be looking at it from a stance of, okay, well, so they're in there. You're going to cook that stuff. As long as there's no bacteria or anything to it, you'd have to research that. You've got a source of protein in your flour. But honestly, I don't want to be eating bugs. If it came down to it, a survival situation, sure. But just take the extra steps to make sure that your stuff is going to be stored and that it's going to be good to eat after you need it. So I think it's one of those things where we're looking around what's happening in society today, and we have this kind of a quick fix mentality where, well, I need to make sure that I can do some canning. So we run to the store and we buy a bunch of fresh produce, or, well, the freshest produce that's available at this point, and then we start canning and stuff. Well, when you start looking at the cost of the jars, the cost of the lids, and the cost of the vans, and then the cost of the actual food, a lot of times you're actually cheaper to come out to just go ahead and buy it pre-canned. So that would be my recommendation. A lot of those cans are now going up in price. They've doubled, sometimes almost tripled in some places. And what do you do in that situation? Well, you grow your own food at your house. You grow vegetable stuff that you eat now, and then you take that grocery fund and you apply it toward stocking up your shelves and stuff. That's the way I would do it. That's the way I do it here. And you watch the dates and you stack it accordingly so that you know your rotation of moving that stuff out of your pantry into your kitchen and be bringing new stuff in. So you have to rotate your preps, guys. If you don't rotate your preps, you're going to end up with a bunch of stuff that's mismatched. Don't store a bunch of dented cans. If you got a can and you drop it and it's dented, then I would go ahead and use it for dinner that night. If you're at the store and you're looking at cans and they're all dented, I'm not buying. I'm not going to risk it. To me, it's not worth risking. But there are a lot of people who will actually try to get discounts on dented cans. And if that's your prerogative, I say do what you got to do. But I'm going to hop off of here. I hope everyone's having a great day. Information, man, get as much food as you can. Don't stop prepping, man, because there's people out there, they're going to tell you, oh, well, you're hoarding food. Who cares? Who cares what they think? When it comes down to it, your family is going to be covered. You're good to go. Then these same people who demonized you are then going to, one, try to come over and then beg for it, and then take it by force. So plan accordingly, guys. Everyone have a wonderful day.